Chen Lee was born in the squalor of the city's forgotten corners. Poverty was his cradle. Violence was his lullaby. He witnessed the cruelty of the strong against the weak every single day. Young Chen swore an oath. He would protect the vulnerable. He began training in secret, honing his body and mind. He learned the ancient art of kung fu. He became a symbol of hope in the darkness. He was their protector. The people called him the people's champion. Chen Lee was more than a fighter. He was a beacon of hope. He was their champion, their protector, their voice. Chen Lee's actions did not go unnoticed. Corrupt officials feared his growing influence. Ruthless gangsters saw him as a threat. Landlords trembled at his name. They conspired to silence him. They sent thugs and assassins. But Chen Lee was ready. He fought with the ferocity of a cornered tiger. He moved with the grace of a dancing crane. He dismantled their schemes one by one. He became a nightmare for the wicked. He was the storm they could not weather. Each battle took its toll. He suffered broken bones and deep wounds, but his spirit remained unbroken. He knew the cost of freedom. He understood the price of justice. He was willing to pay it in full. He would not yield. He became a legend whispered in hushed tones. He was a symbol of defiance against tyranny. He was the embodiment of hope in a city drowning in darkness. His name became synonymous with justice. He was Chen Lee, the people's champion. Years of relentless fighting took their toll on Chen Lee's body. His movements, once fluid and effortless, became stiff and labored. Old wounds ached with the coming rain. His once boundless energy began to wane, but his spirit remained as strong as ever. He knew his time was running out. He felt the shadow of mortality creeping closer, but he refused to surrender. He had a duty to fulfill. He had a promise to keep. He would fight until his last breath. He meditated to find inner peace. He trained to maintain his edge. He knew his final battle was approaching. He could feel it in the wind. He could see it in the eyes of his enemies. He prepared himself for the ultimate showdown. Chen Lee was a warrior, not a martyr. He understood the limits of his body, but he also knew the strength of his spirit. He would face his destiny with courage and resolve. He would fight for the people until the very end. Section 4. The Shadow of Xiang. A new threat emerged from the shadows. Master Xiang, a ruthless warlord, sought to control the city. He was a master of dark arts and manipulation. He spread fear and despair wherever he went. He was the ultimate test for Chen Lee. Xiang represented everything Chen Lee fought against. He was the embodiment of corruption and tyranny. He was a cancer that needed to be excised. Chen Lee knew he had to confront him. He had to stop him. Despite his failing health, Chen Lee made the decision to challenge Xiang. He knew it might be his last fight. He understood the risk, but he would not stand idly by while Xiang terrorized the city. He began preparing for the inevitable confrontation. He trained harder than ever before. He pushed his body to its limits. He knew this would be his final stand. He would face Xiang and fight for the soul of the city. Section 5. Showdown at the Serpent's Temple. The rain poured down as Chen Lee arrived at the Serpent's Temple. This was Xiang's stronghold. The air was thick with anticipation. Lightning illuminated the ancient stone structure. The final battle was about to begin. Xiang awaited him at the heart of the temple. He was surrounded by his elite guards. His eyes burned with malice. He was confident in his victory. He underestimated Chen Lee's resolve. The clash was epic. Chen Lee fought with the fury of a wounded lion. He pushed past his physical limitations. His spirit burned brighter than ever. He fought for the people. He fought for justice. He took down Xiang's guards one by one. His movements were precise and deadly. He was a whirlwind of fists and feet. He was unstoppable. He would not be denied. Section 6. Legacy of the People's Champion. Chen Lee finally faced Xiang. The two masters clashed in a flurry of blows. The fight was intense and brutal. Chen Lee, despite his weakened state, fought with unmatched courage. He pushed Xiang to his limits. He landed a final devastating blow. Xiang fell. The reign of terror was over. The city erupted in cheers. Chen Lee had saved them. He had fulfilled his promise. But the victory came at a price. Chen Lee collapsed. His body had given all it could. He lay there breathing heavily, a smile on his face. He knew he had done his duty. With his last breath he whispered, "The people are free!" Then he closed his eyes. Chen Lee, the people's champion, was gone. But his legacy lived on. He inspired generations to fight for justice. He became a symbol of hope and resistance. He would never be forgotten.